All right, we're back in the cabin again. Today we are working on our stairs. We started doing the stringer a couple days ago. We had to cut these custom just because of the what we're trying to accomplish here. This is my first time building switchback stairs. So for those of you who are not aware what switchback stairs basically are, they're the kind of stairs where you start walking up and then you turn around and you do an about face and go the other direction. So this is the first attempt at doing something like this. We did cut triple stringers for both the bottom to the first landing, and then triples all the way up to the top. The stairs are 32 inches roughly on the bottom level, and then 36 inches wide going from the landing up. I wanted to make those a little bit wider going up on the after you get past the landing. The idea being is that if anything can make it through here and get through the turn, then it can make it all the way. So that way we don't have to run into any issues where you get halfway up with something and it can't go the rest of the way. We could have gone with a little bit narrower setup, maybe a little bit different thing here, but for what we're trying to accomplish, this was what we needed to do. We are also incorporating a closet into this design too. So the closet space, as it sits right now, is about not quite 3 feet wide, almost, give or take. We are building shelving into our closet. So these will have built-in shelves. You can see them from the other side and from this side, and that will give us adequate space for to act as a pantry for this little cabin. We wanted to make where there's plenty of open area for us to store various goods in here. The back area here, we're going to close this area in and put shelving on here too. Maybe a can dispenser, maybe just shelving, just something back here basically on the very back. And then we'll also have this area will get enclosed with drywall or something in this area. And then we're going to put some just some hooks for like mops and brooms, things like that, so that this closet can serve all of these functions inside of this cabin. For doorways, our plan right now to accommodate our walk pattern and the flow of traffic through here. So whenever you walk in, the door will open up this way, and this will allow us to have our light switches right here, easily accessible whenever you walk into the back door of the cabin. It's going to be a light up above. We'll have a light switch for out here. For the lights on it, as well as for maybe a light for the closet. We haven't decided yet on that one if we're going to do that. So we're looking at least 2, maybe 3, could be as many as 4 switches, depending on how we want to wire that up. Again, the goal for this cabin is to make it to where it does not use a lot of electricity, but just because what we want that to be the case doesn't mean that we're going to neglect having adequate light throughout the cabin too. Even though it's going to be, obviously, the goal is to try to get a solar panel or power. Here for the closet, basically it'll open up this way into this space. The reason this has to be the case is because of where the storage and everything is there. We could potentially change that, we'll see. But my thought process is it will open up this way. That does mean that whenever you are walking into this area, that you cannot have this door open and then get to the closet. But the alternative would be for us to have the door open up this way, which would of course block ingress egress going into the kitchen area. You still could potentially do it, but it would create issues through there. So we decided just to go ahead and have the door open up this way. We don't really see where there's going to be a whole lot of traffic going through here. This is a small cabin. It's not meant to be a permanent lived-in structure. So with that in mind, we are building it so that this is occasional use. This is going to be for doing some filming for our videos for YouTube, showing you some of our cooking projects, and of course for the office and then storage, things of that nature. As you're walking through this space, there is adequate clearance through here. So we have 4 feet of clearance from the corner of the stairs right here to where this wall is. And there will be a handrail half wall that will start here and go up to about right here, all the way over, and that will enclose this space on this side of the stairs, kind of locking everything in place, also serving as a handrail for anyone walking up through here. and then still leaving it open so that if you're walking down the stairs, you have good visibility. We wanted to keep things as open as we could, as much natural light as we could, and so this this actually worked the best for us under these conditions. We are in the process of closing in the stairs as well. Just kind of had a day here where I could spend a little bit of time kind of working on this. So what we're doing is we're just taking 2x4s. We had some extras, so we just went ahead and decided to work on closing this up, and we're just using 2x4s. We're planing these down with our wind planer and making them relatively smooth. This will go all the way up, and the stair treads will actually extend out over, and we'll actually screw on, or we'll nail down to these as well. So they'll be notched out, making it all nice and polished looking and neat and everything else, so that whenever it's all said and done, it all looks integrated and very nicely and gives plenty of walk space. Having this little ledge right here, of course, opens up the possibility for somebody, if they needed to, they could actually lean on this a little bit. There'll be some finished wood obviously going on this side too to close this in. We're not ready to do that just yet though. Can't use my 2x because that would take a little bit too much off of the tread on the walk space or the stairs. So what we'll probably do is get some 1x's to go down here. We'll plane those, make them look integrated with what we're trying to do here. And then basically just nail those into this area all the way flush, closing this area completely in and making for a nice, a nice set of stairs, which we can stain or paint or however we want to ultimately finish. I think the plan that we're thinking of right now is to stain the wood. We're not going to have a lot of exposed woodwork in this house, so we want to take advantage of any of the instances where we do have wood exposed to, of course, try to stain it, make it look good, to try and set it off a little bit of an accent. So we will have a few places that will have some wood. This is one of those areas, but there will only be just 1 or 2 spots like that throughout the cabin. Most of this is just going to be just sheetrocked. So that's cheap, it's economical, affordable, quick, relatively quick to do. And so it will actually look really well. We'll look really good in this cabin anyways. Plus, we're going to paint the walls white, since again, we're trying to create the impression of a very large space. Even though the cabin is relatively small, we want to create the illusion of it being large. And so we're going to go with some light colors in there. Beyond that, we will, once we get to the second level, there's plans possibly for a window going up in that space, which of course is what goes up into the loft area. That's what these stairs lead up to. And so there are plans for us to maybe put a window up there. We may or may not, we'll just have to wait and see how that ultimately pans out for some additional light. If not, then I think we'll still be okay, because we do have 3 windows, actually 4 windows going in this space against this long wall. We have the transom window, which will go above the door. The door is going to have some glass. We've got side lights on that. We have a window opposite to this space. It's covered up by that piece of plywood right now, but there will be a window up there and a window over here. Now in the future, whenever we are able to do so, this will become an outdoor kitchen. And when that happens, that window will no longer truly be functional as a normal window. What we were going to do is we will take the screen out, and that will allow us to create a pass-through point, so that whenever we're using the outdoor kitchen, if we need to pass something from inside the kitchen out to this space, we'll have a little shelf on the outside, one on the inside, to set like a hot pot, or maybe some steaks that we're going to grill out. Just get hungry already thinking about that one. Maybe something we're going to smoke, like some pork, some shoulders, or something along those lines, and create some delicious barbecue. And so that's what we will end up doing in that space. So that works functionally for that purpose. Meanwhile, I think that's about it for what we've accomplished so far. Other than we have got most of the sheeting down for the upstairs for the floor. We're down to about 3, maybe 4 sheets that remain. It's not too bad, but I have to turn my attention over to this. Another reason why we did the stairs. So let me talk a little bit about that just a little bit more in detail, because you're wondering why in the world do you have such beefy woodware, studware on something like this. Anyways, just for a closet door. Normally closet doors are an afterthought. There's not a whole lot of framing that's required to them, so to speak, and you certainly wouldn't have triple 2x studs in a closet normally. Well, the reason is because what I wanted to do is I wanted to integrate the closet into some support for the stairs. I mean, the stairs are adequately supported on both ends. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty through there. That's not an issue, but I like some redundancy. All right, so if anything ever happens and these things start to give a little bit, the house begins to have a little bit of some settling issues or things, this is set up to where it can bear the weight of the stairs very easily. So we have triple 2x on this side, doubles on this side. We'll put another one actually will go in here so I can close this area up a little bit more. And then at the very bottom, we're going to leave our bottom plate in place, and we're going to build up the floor on the opposite side, through there. And then that way the weight is actually transferred down and through and onto the bottom plate. We have floor joists that actually come in over here, but there's not one on this side right there at it. The floor joist sits right here. We might reinforce that floor joist and add a sister to it, just so it sits underneath here. Don't see where that really is completely necessary at this point, but again, just to be on the safe side, we might end up doing something like that just to create a little bit extra in the way of support. I really want to make sure that if anything ever happens and the stairs begin to have any issues with them, because you don't know. I mean, we build this thing right now, and this is 2024. I want this cabin to last for my lifetime, and hopefully my kids' lifetime and my grandkids' lifetime whenever I am blessed enough to have them. Right now, we look at the cabin as it stands, the foundation as it stands, and it's all fine. There's no problems with it. It's more than adequate to support this little structure that we're putting on here. But we need to plan for 50, 75 years down the road. And you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're on the side of a hill, and it's entirely possible that you could end up seeing a little bit of some shifting or something at some point. So we want to make sure that we're covering our bases. Beyond that, I think that's about everything that we've managed to accomplish so far. If you got any questions or thoughts with regard to what we're doing here, leave them in the comments below. If you like the idea of staining the woodwork, tell me what you think on that. Light stain, dark stain, heck, paint it, whatever you want to do, whatever you think we should do on that, let us know. We'd be interested in finding out. But for right now, that's about it for the update. So we'll catch you next time.